Good evening, everyone. Good evening and hello. I am Pig. It is Tuesday, the second to last day of 2025, December 30th, and I'm back on my bullshit. I'm on the moon. Now, as you can probably see, there are a lot of differences between the last time y'all saw me play and today. Went through and did some stuff, started doing some experimentation with trying to cool my furnace gases using phase change. Now, I've run into some issues, and to be perfectly candid, you don't need phase change on the moon because it's cold enough as it is. You just need enough radiators. But I'm a dumbass, so I want to do shit the not necessarily easy way. So, other change is I got the other Larry set up. So we've got wheat going now. So we don't need to be eating french fries no more. We can eat the good stuff, the bread. Speaking of eating, the other change, we got this little setup going here. Now this is the living quarters and control station where we're going to be paying attention to stuff when we ain't got no projects to work on. Well, pressing projects. There's always something that you can be tinkering with to try and make better. Basically, I learned something new. A change that was made on these vending machines is you can set the stack size on the inside of them, and the vending machine will fill to that stack size. So, stack set to 50. It's going to try and make sure that every stack that's in here is 50. Isn't that neat? Oh yeah, we got an oven and, canning machine, basic package machine. I don't know if I'm ever going to use that because I got a refrigerator. Basically, if it's flour or if it's oil, it don't go bad. So, as long as it's in a state that doesn't go bad, we don't have to worry about it going bad. Which is the biggest advantage to bread, because it's 2 ingredients. Once processed, they don't go bad. Now, I probably have way more wheat and soybeans going than I actually need. It's okay, though. Oh, I'm thirsty, apparently. Give myself a sip of water. So yeah, those are some changes that were made. Now, I don't plan on getting this place any further at the moment. It was really just to get it so it can get started. Plan is there's going to be a kitchen, like a full kitchen like that right there. Those appliances ain't moving. They're going to be there. They're just gonna sit here. It's gonna be okay. I'm fine with them being where they are. And it's been a little while since I've cleaned that thing out, isn't it? It's been a long while since I've cleaned this thing out. But that's the beauty of bread. Yep. Walk away from that now. Alright, so as I was saying before I got so rudely interrupted by my bodily needs, silver. Been playing a little bit with a new cooling setup for the gases, and I want it to cool faster. That's what I want to do. I want it to be relatively quick when it cools down the gases. And I also want to switch away from using a cold tank. So the plan is going to pull double duty. One is going to cool off the waste gases so that we can filter it and use it. And two, sorry, I'm eating Andy's mints right now. They're freaking addictive. I love them. Two, I want to use it to also cool my working gases for my furnace. So if I want a lower temperature, instead of pumping cold gas into that hot gas mix, I want to just pull the heat straight out. So I got me some heat exchangers, one for my working gas and one for my waste gas. And those both come up to this evaporation chamber. Now the problem comes into how much refrigerant do I have, which is not a lot. It's going to take more than what I got in here in order for me to, well, get what I want out of it. Now, I'm thinking what I can do is I can put a pressurant valve here. That'll ensure, well, a pressurant valve and a purge valve over here somewheres. So very likely have the pressurant valve here and then a purge valve over here. So the pressurant valve will maintain the pressure in that pipe where it'll stay condensed. And then the purge valve will pull out excess gas, the refrigerant, make sure that that liquid pipe that can't hold nearly as much pressure as this gas pipe for some stupid fucking reason doesn't overpressurize and explode. Now, if we have the pressure high enough and the temperature, then what's in there will probably just start condensing. I'm not too worried about that, because if you get the temperature in here low enough, it'll condense anyway, because, well, that's the wrong key. There we go. If we look here, I want to use the pollutant, because it's got a wider temperature swing than nitrous. It doesn't have as much BTUs that I can work with So nitrous oxide is also an excellent refrigerant, but as you can see, it turns to solid much faster than pollutant does. And on the moon, the last thing that you want to do is that's the biggest reason why we don't really use phase change cooling on the moon, because it's just too damn cold. So it's really hard to control that. Now, my idea to have a little bit more control over that is do a two-stage cooling in regards to the refrigerant is not being actively cooled by these radiators. It's a secondary effect. The coolant, which is nitrogen, is flowing through these radiators this way. Now, right now, I just got it on series because I want to just see if I can make it work before I actually improve on the design. Having it in parallel would probably work a lot better than series. In fact, I almost always put these radiators in parallel because that way the gases going into each one of them is going to give off the same number of BTUs, because as the temperature of the gases get closer to, well, the temperature of space, they give off less BTUs. So this one is giving off a lot of BTUs. This one's not really giving off that many. But if we had them in parallel, they'd all be giving off the same number of BTUs as this first one. This is really just a test setup. Just to see as a proof of concept. Oh, it's about to get real hot. We're having a solar storm. But the refrigerant, the pollutant, condenses out of the pipe here into this pipe here. And then as a liquid, it's pulled into the evaporation chamber, which pulls in heat to cause the evaporation effect that we want in the refrigerant, which carries the BTUs that absorbs it through here and into here. Now, we've got a secondary pipe here just to keep carrying the gases through, because, well, we don't have enough gas in there, we don't have enough pollutant in there to really do what I want it to do. So, I also haven't turned this thing on yet, because the pressure in that pipe is 1.35 megapascals. But this sumbitch doesn't take in gas, it takes in liquid. Damn Andy's mints, they always get me. So that being said, at 1.3 megapascals, (1.8 megapascals) goes to liquid. We're going to cut that log scale. Yeah, it don't want to be in a liquid state at the pressure that it's at. Oh, battery died. Anywho, so we need more pollutant as a refrigerant to increase the pressure of that line, so that shit turns into a liquid, so the thing will actually work. And these damn Andes mints are going to be the death of me, and it will be a good death. Alright, so let's go here. We need to swap you out. We need more pollutant. Probably not a whole lot more, but we need more. We're gonna look here. How much do I have? Oh, 2.8 kilomole. That's actually not that's not a bad amount. So let's see. This son of a bitch is full of nitrogen. We're gonna need more of that for our coolant loop. I've already filled this guy, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's got nitrogen in there. That's our heat pipe. Now we want you. There. We want this volume pump there to encourage the transfer. Now we gotta be careful. We cannot put that, because it's 70 degrees Celsius, right? So we cannot put it above a certain pressure, else it'll start liquefying. We're gonna come up here. All right, we need more U. 243 kPa. So we're gonna grab this, guys. Where are you going? Come back. Where the heck am I going? All right. Plant. Hard to see right now with the solar storm going on. But you know what? I'd rather deal with solar storms a little bit on the moon than the wind storms on Mars. That's just me, though. Come on. Oh, I already had it attached. There we go. All right, so right now she is at 243 kPa. Turn you on. Well, it's kind of hard for me to do anything with that, so do I have any pipes laying around? You picked up pipe valve, pick you up. Alright, let's go see if I got a pipe inside. I don't really care too much to use an insulated pipe in this instance because it's not that big a deal. I was just using insulated pipes with everything else because, well, I want the insulated pipes on my refrigerant circuit because I only want to be giving off heat where I want to be giving off heat. Like, I only want to be giving off heat in certain spots. Otherwise, I want the heat to be stable. Because giving off too much heat. All right, you know what? Let's go get us some more propellant. I've eaten that entire freaking bag. Okay. There we go. We're probably going to need to go mine some more nitri soon, because we're going to need more. Don't mind me as I pop in this nicotine pouch. Oh, hey, storm's over. Alright, we're going into that pipe there. Okay. Pressure's going up. So we'll want to keep it around a megapascal. Now, I don't know why it does that sometimes. So we're not moving a whole lot of moles very quickly. We do have quite a bit of stuff in there. Alright, that's 1 megapascal. We're going to stop it at 1.5 because it's It's about 1.6 where it starts liquefying at the temperature it's at. That's 1.5. Still a gas. Come with me, and you'll see the immense amount of work that I have for you to do. We're gonna run you. What I think I'm going to do, pop you off, and we're going to put in a one-way valve. Pull all the refrigerant out of this. Oh. Turn you off. Do I have one? I do. Okay, that'll be fine. It'll condense, it'll go through. Let's pull you out. The problem with this setup is that it's, well, it's going to equalize in pressure. Turn you off. So you start liquefying. You should start going in here. Because technically you're at the around the pressure I would imagine you'd start liquefying. Celsius, please, thank you. Okay, so it's got to be 3 megapascals to liquefy at that temperature. That's dropping pretty rapidly as the temperature goes down. But that's okay. It is a proof of concept only at the moment. Once we prove the concept, we can actually put together a design that will work. I'm going to keep the counterflow heat exchanger design. But what I'll probably do is put these rads in parallel, not serial, parallel. I cannot freaking talk right now. It's been a long week. It's only freaking Tuesday, and it's been a long week. But I want to get as many moles out of this tank as I can. Turn you off. Move you. Don't you go nowhere. Set you right there. Open you up. Run you. Pressure is at 1.6. At 1.6. She does not. Alright, so. We need more. Where did I... Huh. Oh, that's what happened. Y'all are not in my tool belt. They're in my pocket. Oh, hey, look at that. You're starting to condense there. Maybe evaporating. Ah, so we have... evaporation happening in there. I have evaporation happening in here because the pressure went down, so we need more. And that's okay. We've still got plenty more. We've got lots and lots and lots more. So it would be nice if it cooperated a little bit better. Now, we're going to put this one upstairs and start piping it out. And in the process, we're also going to get these two fixed up and then put some heat in this pipe so that we can start running tests. Because I'm not really good at math. I really don't know how to do the math to know how much I'm going to need in order for me to maintain the pressure that I want to maintain while at the same time also not overdoing it. So we're going to just tinker until we have a general idea of how much we want. And if we really want to measure how much we're going to need afterward, we could just put on a tank, pump everything into that tank, and then see how many moles are in that tank. There we go. All right, then we'll figure out. I've got a rough idea of what I want to do. So the general idea is you've got the radiators here. Now on one side, we have a volume pump. On the other side, we have a digital valve. This guy's always going to be on. He's always going to be circulating refrigerant through here. But we don't necessarily want to cool it off too much because we also don't want the refrigerant to freeze in the pipe, because that's a thing that can happen. So when we want to reject heat, we turn on the valve. When we want to stop rejecting heat, we turn off the valve. And then this volume pump will pump down this heat rejector, I guess is what we would call it. I don't like calling it a heat source, because the actual heat source is this motherfucker right here. That nomenclature has just always never really sat right with me. So we're going to go ahead and weld these guys up. Oh. Well, I needed these pipes anyways. But yeah. Get you going. Get you done. Swap you for you and you for you. There's you done and you done. And then Wires, motherfucker. I got plenty of it over here. I was using these because they were just working a little bit faster than the passive cooling I had set up. And I had a couple of spares hanging out anyway, so whatever. 2 and 3. Add some heat. Turn that off. See how much heat we added in. 154 degrees Celsius. I want a little bit more. That's good enough. Okay. So, the temperature that I want to be cooling my waste gases off to is about roughly 30 degrees Celsius. So, Celsius, 30 degrees, and we want to have around a 30 degree delta. Well, no, we can make that even colder if we want to. So let's go minus 45. So we're gonna set this guy 2500. Confirm. Power you on. Now you're not gonna do nothing because, well, frankly, I did it dumb. Forgot to close that valve. Speed that up a little bit. Let that run. There you go. Open you. Ooh, our nitrogen was starting to liquefy, so we might have a little bit too much in there, or we might not have a big enough tank on here. I want to keep the pressure low for the nitrogen, so we're going to add another tank over here. Look at that. Temperature in here is gotten chilly. So we're gonna go ahead and open the valve down here. We're gonna let that run for a minute. Because that might be our proof of concept fairly done. We're gonna eat, drink, change out our waste tank. Come outside. Ignore the bot in the chat. Minus 54. 37. 250. Open you up. 75. Load you because we added too much. Alright, we're going to power you off. Finish emptying this tank. Once that tank is empty, we'll disconnect it and start a test. I'm going to turn you off for now. Right. And we wanted to put on another tank. Call it a receiver. That's basically what it's acting as. The extra. Give it some more space so the pressure is reduced. We want some utilities. Praying my conundrum becomes a lot larger. You know, I have had some explosions happen on this this save. Y'all just didn't happen to be watching when they happened. What was I doing? I was getting some utilities. Let's see. Insulated utility. There we go. Oh, I want 3 of them. That plant. Soon there shall be the biggest explosion yet. Yes, when we start playing with rockets. Probably in February is when we're going to get to rockets. Power's fine. All right, let's put that on because we want to avoid the nitrogen liquefying in the pipes. It really isn't real. Why are you lying on the line? I mean, it's real for me. I gotta go work out in it. There. That should keep the nitrogen pressure low enough. Yes. Nitrogen pressure low enough that it won't liquefy. There are you. You're at 59. That's close enough. Save there. Open you. See what you're doing. Okay. Open you. $17, $44, $63, $77, $83. $160, 2.9. Alright, so proof of concept wise, we need more radiators. February propaganda, I expect more of you. I mean, you having those expectations to begin with is your fault. I don't know what to tell you. Really? How much are these giving off? 16 kilojoules. 35 kilojoules. 38 kilojoules. Let's increase the mole throughput a little bit. Starting to condense again. We're going to close this valve. 765C. Turn you on. And watch the temperature drop. Okay, so proof of concept wise, we've got that's injecting roughly 80 kilojoules. This temperature equalizes really quick. So we'll know the total, our biggest point measure of how many joules we're actually transferring once it's at, is going to be this guy right here. It's 148. We're transferring liquid over. And we're absorbing liquid. Giving it off. It's evaporating as we bring it in. These are staying about minus 78, and I think part of it is because we don't have enough of these counterflow heat exchangers, because they don't have as much of an exchange as our indirect heat exchangers. As our large one. So we might have to adjust the plan on this. I was hoping to keep the counterflows because they're neat. We use counterflow in the real world a lot. But they just do not have the heat transfer rate because we're only maintaining 92, about a 50, about a 50-degree delta T Celsius through these radiators. Let's see. What was I doing? That's what I was doing. 712. So it's capped out at about 20 kilojoules. And at the moment, I'm not sure if the bottleneck is the number of radiators Well, the radiators is a problem. But I'm leaning towards the bottleneck being these guys. Five joules. 4 joules. 17 kilojoules. So most of our heat transfer is in this one. So these guys, kinda extra. So maybe the problem isn't these heat exchangers. That's minus 106, and going into it is 151. So the temperature equalizes from this side to this side pretty handily. But what I want is more. I want to transfer more heat. So we need a larger temperature difference between this pipe and that pipe. And to get, it is a large temperature difference. It is 258 degree Celsius temperature difference between this side and that side. So let's make some more radiators. Yeah? I've got radiators already. What I need is more pipe. We have plenty of steel in there. We need more silicon in there. And insulated pipe. Really? That was dumb of me. I wanted a whole stack. Thank you very much. Now let's see. We don't need you. 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 Don't need you. We're going to hold on to you. You can come back up here. You are going to go hang out there. You're going to come here. Come on now. I wish that the upgraded printers were a smidge faster. Alright, let's take a look at what we're doing up there. Grab you. Okay, so we've got 5 radiators. these are the wrong radiators. There we go. Oh, wrench. Well, that's handy. All right, and we're gonna shut you off. Pull everything out of here. Just gotta let that pump down. Now what I'm going to do is I'll double up the radiators so they'll be in series parallel. So 2 radiators in series with each other, 5 sets of parallel circuits. Because that's space saving and pipe saving. We're going to need a lot more pipe. Let that go for now. All right, that should be fine. Just turn you on. Grab grinder, wrench. There. Another stack of pipes. Started printing another one. I did it again, or I didn't set the number of pipes I wanted. What am I doing? Yes. Trying to conserve my nitrogen as much as I can. There it is. Having those radiators in there, or this orientation, will mean that the sun will not affect them as much, if at all. Might affect them a little bit, but it's okay. I'm planning on shading this space from the sun anyways. Just not until I've got a proof of concept. All right. Apparently we're getting hungry again. Okay. Turn you on. Turn you one. And then we can look at minus 128, 146. It's going down. It's going up because we're now getting liquid again. 109. This is increasing. 74. 61. Okay. We're going to put a one-way valve in here somewhere. Grab some food while we're in here. Okay, let's see here. You're radiating 172, 327, 342, 173. Okay, so we are radiating more joules total than before. We're going to move our receiver. There. Pull you. One-way valve. Close. Open you. Now. 151. 152. Minus 81. 150. So this first heat exchanger is the only one that's really doing anything. Still. kind of heat transfer have we got going on here? Still 17 kilojoules. It's going up. So at night it's going to go up because the sun's not affecting the radiators. So we're pulling enough heat for there to be maintaining a difference in temperature between here and here. So, let's do another test. I'm going to get a large direct heat exchange. Well, no. Because the problem is we're still equalizing the temperature off of the one. So, what do? We need more radiators. We're going to make 10 more radiators. Medium. We need more copper. How much do we need? We have exactly what we need. I'm going to grab some more copper because we're running low on that. Fucking why? Don't know what's going on with that. Turn you off. Anyways. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if I remember right, I need those to go on top of frames. At least to be planted. I can remove the frames later. Here's 5. Let's see. Yep, they need a frame below. Don't have any... Well, if we're just removing the frames, we're going to switch over. We'll just grab some iron ones. I know I got those laying around. Now, it used to be that I could plop one of these down, not complete it, and still be able to set the radiator. Alright, I forgot I made that adjustment. So let's see. Sweet. I'm okay with this. Grab the rest of the radiators. We're going to need steel soon. Yes. I'm going to need more nitrogen in this circuit after this, I believe. And I need like 9 or 10 more pipes. You know, if I was using the extra length pipes, I probably wouldn't use as many pipes. Full stack. And this thing. We need to turn off that furnace because it's using power that we don't need it to be using right now. Open the fucking door. Bloop. Getting impatient. Okay, let's see. Got here. 88, 150, 15.8 kilojoules. 145, 143, 146, 149, 170 and dropping. Okay, we need more going in. You know, I just had that thought. It struck me. You take off the utility first. Don't be dumb. You want the utility on the other side. On the receiving side of the king valve. There we go. And we're going to grab our utility from over here. Come on, fingers. Yep. There. Grab ourselves some more nitrogen. We need enough thermal mass in there for it to give off the joules that we want. Yeah, we're going to need more nitrogen. It's okay, not a big deal. That charge. And then we'll open up our king valve. Well, well. The temperature is going down. What kind of joules are you passing now? Only 15. 126, 123. I have 2, 3, 6, 12. Let's pull these extra counterflows out. See what kind of difference that makes. We have exactly 12 pipes. Wrench. Okay. 136 minus 82, 130, 143. Minus 88, 135, 134, 115, 14, 13. A lot of that is because we're not getting liquid refrigerant. So it's coming in bursts. At 1.9, it's got to be a negative, so we need more pressure. Pressure goes up. Power you off for now. Run. I'm going to need more nitrogen too. I think that's a big factor. Because the flow of BTUs is limited not just by the temperature difference, but the number of moles being processed at the same time. So if we're only processing half a mole per tick through here on one side and another on the other, and then you've got to look at the difference in BTUs per nitrogen. Specific heat is 20.6 joules per Kelvin. Right? Whereas the pollutant is 24. So we want roughly the same number of joules per Kelvin. We want roughly the same number of joules running through. Same number of moles. Roughly. Or at least pretty dang close. So we have almost 9 joules on the refrigerant side, and well, not joules, 9 moles on the refrigerant side, and 1 mole on the coolant side. So yeah, okay, so let's go through. Get more nitrous. That's O2. Is that N2 as well? It is, okay. I'm going to drop down here. Well, that was pointless. I'm going to try and avoid making another hole. I should really make the hole fill-in tool. Fill in the holes. Falling in them is not fun in the buggy. Get some more, get some more, get some more. Into O2. 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 I believe that's O2. Yes. Cobalt. Lots of it. Can stay where it is. Right, I don't have any backpacks on me. Drop you, drop you, drop you, drop you, because I have miners taking care of you. More down there. Sure is. No, that's O2. Right? Yeah. There's more over here, though. All right.
Hydration critical.
There we go. space. Take care of our hydration real quick and our food. And then we'll start processing this nitrice. We'll see about getting more nitrogen. Let's look at nitrogen real quick. That's pollutant. Nitrogen. Pause. Log scale. So it's got to be quite cold, and the pressure has to be quite high for it to go liquid. I might put in a bypass loop. In fact, I'm going to put in a bypass loop. Because that might be the only way to keep the nitrogen from liquefying. Oh, yeah? Yes. We can turn our sensor lenses off.
Hunger caution.
Okay.
Oxygen low.
Oops.
Oxygen critical. Low pressure. Pressure critical.
That go. We want to avoid it liquefying inside. So we've got to let it process. What is that piece of ice there, anyways? Nitrous. Alright, now I got a hole over here. I'm just gonna dump all this nitrous that I've got floating around over here. It's gonna go there. Saw some over here. Was I dumping it in this hole? I think I was. I was. Okay. How did my pill get down here? I haven't had to use it, huh? I can't get to that. That's okay. Going down there. Let's take a look at our nitrogen supply. Plug that in so we can recharge. Check our filters. Dead. Okay. You're almost dead too. You're fine. Oh, this is CO2. You. More silver. Go. Just go ahead and swap oxygen one out too. Because they're almost depleted.
Waste tank caution.
Waste tank caution. Okay. See how you're doing. Minus 140 joule. You're running. Ah, it's because you're turned off. There we go. Temperature is dropping again. .2. What do you... liquefy it? -1. Okay. Alright. I'm going to swap this one for a purge valve. Pretty sure I have a pressure control around here somewhere. Out here? No. What's our temperature in here? 709. So it's going down slowly, as I was expecting it to, as the start of proof of concept. We're just going to keep refining our design until we get the transfer rate that we're looking for. And pressure regulator, thank you. We're going to pull a purge valve and keep the pressure we're gonna rip this one. Valve. And we want to keep pressure around 35. 500 max. Confirm. Start. Pull some of that out. Don't want to add any more refrigerant in there. We're going to keep adding nitrogen. Until we got about as an equal mole rate from one side to the other. A little bit less on the nitrogen side because the pollutant does have 4 joules per mole. Brain. You. This process is going to be a little bit faster, but I can do it just a little bit easier. It's going to be a little bit more. The last thing I want to do is overfill on either side. Enough. Looks like we need more air now. Thank you. Okay, let's see how that did. I mean, it increased it. Not a whole lot. It's going to be a couple of trips. 82 degrees. Climbing. 93 minus 98. 94 minus 98.5. So that the delta's increasing. The delta is increasing. 64, 374. Okay. So you're liquefying. You're maintaining. You're maintaining. CR. We'll get this started. Not you. You. You are dropping. You've dropped 9 degrees. Hmm. Run. So it's dropping in temperature just fairly slowly, as I would expect it to. one. Check on our nitrogen bottle. Good enough. It's going to be a long, drawn-out process, that's all. I'm going to try to do this stuff off stream, but I thought this would be interesting. Next time, we'll probably have a working proof of concept, and then we can start thinking about control and design. Though it would be nice if those dang large extendable radiators would work with gas. They don't. They only work with liquids. So when we start cryo-cooling nitrogen or liquid nitrogen, it will be handy. Until then, not so much. 1.7. Yeah, it's just gonna take a while. So we're slowly outstripping. So I don't want to increase the number. I'm not going to increase the number of radiators. I might decrease and make them, well, not decrease the number of radiators, but I might make the radiators a full pair. Sneaky bastard. Sneaky, sneaky bastard. The nice way about doing it this way is it's never going to overpressurize your canister. So you don't have to worry about it blowing up because you pressurized it too quick. The not nice thing about it is it's a very slow process. I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was like 4 years ago now, you could actually put one of these on one side of your base and then one on the other side of your base, and then it would do a cross breeze type thing where you'd have the one pulling out having a lower PSI setting, the back pressure regulator would have a lower pressure setting than your pressure regulator, and it would just flow through
base the entire time. And then they changed it. Not complaining here. Just reminiscing. Okay.
Hunger caution.
Not you. What am I doing? Actually got a good amount of liquid in there. Well, not really a good amount of liquid, but it's coming out at 91. Minus 91, minus 75. So it looks like during the day we have a delta of 100 minus 15, a delta of 85 degrees. And in the night, a delta of 120-ish degrees. So without the sun over top of it, we'll have a delta of 120 degrees. Now, why am I going through all of this? Well, one is because it's fun. It's fun putting complex systems like this together, in my opinion. Two is because as the temperature in the tank that we're cooling falls, the transfer rate slows down significantly. So it ends up taking freaking forever for us to pull all the heat that we're trying to pull out of that tank. And we're bottlenecked by that simple passive transfer. On this system, at 2500, we're always going to maintain About a minus 50 degree temperature. Now, can I make it lower? Yeah, technically. We're still limited by the refrigerant that we're using. So the lowest temperature we could actually make it be is like minus 93. The only way for us to truly overcome that is if we use these devices in conjunction with this guy. So if the temperature in here is high, we use this guy because these guys don't pass as much heat if the temperature is difference between the input, the working gas that you're pulling heat out of or injecting heat into is too high of a difference compared to the gas temperature on the pipe that you're ejecting the heat into. But when the temperatures get relatively close to each other, it works better than the passive cooling that we get from this system. So, is this going to work better at the lower temperatures than what we're currently working with? Maybe. Maybe not. But hey, it's funner to experiment this way. So that being said, I'm probably going to go ahead and call it for the night. I'll continue doing some testing on that, see if I can't find a good the equilibrium that we're looking for. And then we'll do an overview next week on Tuesday. Now, tomorrow night is going to be just worms and hail again. I, through a sad and cruel twist of fate, I am no longer have Christmas Eve off. I am now on call on Christmas Eve. So I will not be able to join in on the... I'm sorry, not Christmas Eve. New Year's Eve. I will not be able to join in on the fun celebration as much as I would like to tomorrow night. There is a good chance that I'll be running calls tomorrow because it's going to be freaking colder than it was on Christmas Eve. And the colder it is, the more calls you're likely to run. So that all being said... thank you all for joining me this wonderful evening. I will see you all again Friday? Friday. I might do some streaming on Thursday, but it's New Year's Day. I don't expect to see people to show up, but if you do show up, cool. Anyways, later.